This is the No More Wasted Days podcast, and we're your hosts, Sarah Kaufman Bradstreet
and Heather PG. Grab your favorite NA drink and listen as we share vulnerable stories so you never feel alone on your alcohol-free journey.
And gain insights from us as we break down our most used tips and strategies that have kept us alcohol-free.
It's time to break free from wasting any more of your days to the drinking, blackout, hangover cycle.
Welcome to another episode of the No More Wasted Days podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Sarah.
And I'm Heather.
And Heather has prepared a really cool topic for us today, all about why you might not be seeing results in your first month of being alcohol-free.
Yes, I think this is so key. And it's something that I questioned at the beginning. And I hear a lot of folks that I work one-on-one with, like, why am I at day 28 and I haven't X, Y, and Z?
Yeah, there's a few that people come to me with on social media with like, why haven't I lost weight yet? Why haven't I noticed my anxiety decrease? Why isn't my sleep getting better? I feel like those are the top three that I hear. So I'm really excited to hear what you talk about in your notes. And I think I'll let you get started.
All right. When we first stop drinking, it's common for us to think that we're going to see immediate results. And I think that's partly because when we drink, we feel immediate results from alcohol. And it's also like you're hopeful for immediate and dramatic changes because you've made an immediate and dramatic change in your life.
Yeah.
We want to wake up feeling refreshed, see weight loss, experience sudden burst of energy. And these things happen. And for some folks, it can take time. Your body really needs to adjust and heal, even if you're a gray area drinker, binge drinker, or if you just drink 3 glasses a night. It does take time.
Yeah. And I love that you say people are excited for those changes to happen immediately because we see the effects of alcohol happen immediately. And how true is that? And we are all in this world where we just want immediate gratification. Is that what they call it?
Yes.
And it is this delayed gratification that you have to learn and look forward to.
A lot of folks with addictive tendencies, I learned this when I was in substance abuse counseling school, have the I want what I want, what I want it mentality.
Oh, yeah.
And I most certainly did and still do. I
Yeah.
have to check myself.
Me too. I'm like, I am so there where I'm like, if I'm on a weight loss journey or whatever it may be, I totally joke with my husband, like, well, but how can I just lose like 25 pounds in 2 days? Because I don't want to do all this work.
Right. And I think we compare ourselves to others too, and that
Oh,
doesn't
yeah.
help.
Yeah. And you know what I've noticed too? Like, I'll follow people and maybe they do have huge weight loss or they do quit drinking and notice all these changes. And we see it as this immediate thing because our life is happening and busy. And we're like, man, they did that in no time. But sometimes when you actually look at it, you're like, oh, it took them 4 years.
Yeah.
It's just that I see them all the time on social media and I see it as this instant thing. And I think that's something that's so important to step back and go, okay, maybe it actually wasn't immediate. So,
Right. So when it comes to physical changes, your body is used to processing alcohol regularly, and it needs time to repair itself. Like I said earlier, it needs time to heal. Your liver function, your brain chemistry, and your digestive system are impacted by alcohol, and healing doesn't happen overnight. I mean, think about when you get a boo-boo. Tell me I'm a 4-year-old mama without telling me I am. Say you cut your finger, it's going to take a while to heal, even a paper cut.
yeah, that is so true. I always tell people too, think about how long you were drinking. And then go, okay, well, it didn't take me 30 days to get to where I've considered myself to have a drinking problem or be questioning my drinking. Like for me, it took me 20 years to get there and go,
Yeah.
oh, I think I'm drinking more than I would like to be drinking. And I think I'm becoming a little bit dependent on this. So I think sometimes we feel like it happened to us instantly, but it definitely did not.
No. And when you look at your mental health adjustment, alcohol can mask underlying mental health struggles.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a lot of people use it myself included, for not wanting to feel the feels. So when you stop drinking, you may initially feel more anxious or depressed as your brain chemistry starts to rebalance or reset.
Yeah, and that can be super upsetting when you're watching people say, "Oh, my anxiety got so much better," or but
Right. I
I've
think it
noticed. Oh, go ahead.
I think it gets better. It's just different.
Yes, that's what I was gonna say, and sometimes it's like the anxiety gets better, but you notice your mood is just lower, and it's like, "Hmm, I'm just on a low right now," but
Yeah.
for me, I was like, it felt balanced, and I didn't know that feeling, so that kind of felt, I don't wanna say boring because I was really excited by my alcohol-free journey, but it felt a little like, "Oh, everything's just balanced and normal," so that can feel really boring, and then I think
Yeah.
people think, "Am I depressed?" No, you just have to learn what you like to do.
Right. And I think when you're feeling the shifts in your mental health, whether it's low energy, a change in anxiety, feeling blue for no reason, I think it's really important to connect with like a therapist or a coach or a support community
Yeah,
to have space to talk about these things, ask questions, and, if it's extreme, really seek help,
yeah,
like professional help.
yeah, and that's a good segue into just thinking about if you are feeling like this at the beginning of your journey, consider looking at the Daymakers community, consider one-on-one coaching with Heather, because I think that's so much of your journey when you can go, "Is this normal?" Like, when you can just go
Yes.
in a message thread and say, "Hey, I'm on day 33 and I feel blah, blah, blah. Is this how everybody else felt?" And then you'll get all these messages going, "I remember that. Yeah, that happened to me too." And then you don't feel alone and you go, "Okay." And it's also good because you hear people go, "I remember that feeling, but keep going. You're gonna get through that feeling."
Yeah, I do that with my one-on-one folks. I offer tech support with certain packages, and say someone's on day 18 and they're like, "Why do I feel so bloated?"
Mhm.
Then we can text back and forth and I'll show my pictures of progression of my journey just to show this is possible.
Yeah.
And I had it marked in time so that people can see visual comparisons.
Yeah, I think that that's so smart, and that's one
Yeah.
of the reasons I share before and afters. It's not to, I don't know, it's not to make people go, "Oh, I want," like, a little bit to go, "I want that change," but more to say, "Oh, that's possible," because honestly, I didn't even know the changes were happening, the physical changes that happen. You don't
Yeah.
really realize they're happening because I don't know, you see yourself in the mirror every single day.
Right. And then when you start to understand like the healing process,
Yeah.
so there are specific areas that you might be expecting results and why they are not as immediate as you hope. And like you said earlier, Sarah, like sleeping patterns.
Mhm.
Alcohol may make you fall asleep faster and it disrupts the quality of sleep, meaning, the 3 a.m. heart palpitations, waking up, who did I text? Where am I? Playing CSI on your phone. Um, it just is it's a thief of sleep quality,
It really is.
and it takes time for your sleep patterns to normalize.
Yeah.
And sometimes people experience insomnia in the beginning of their alcohol-free journey and really restless nights, and then it does level out.
I think that that one is the one that people wanna see that instant change in so fast, and I was lucky because the sleep came easy to me after I quit, but I'm trying to think if I had a nighttime routine at that point in my life already. Not really. Like, I had kids that I put to bed, so they had a routine, and that probably had me on a little bit of routine, so my body just knew, "Oh, it's time to fall asleep." But
Mhm.
the big change for me was just not having to wake up in the middle of the night anymore and feel
Yes.
anxiety over the stupid drinking that I did the night before.
Right.
And having that gone helped me so, so much. I actually slept a lot more in the beginning.
Me too.
I was like, "Okay, when I these 10-hour sleeps, this is cool, but also I have things I need to do."
Yeah.
Like, I would kinda be like, "Oh my god, I slept this late? Well, how'd this happen?" That does change too. Your body just balances.
Yes, it does. And it's worth it.
Oh god, it really is.
Then when you look at, like, weight loss, which is something I hear a lot in the Daymakers thread
Yeah.
and with my one-on-one folks, it's like, "Why am I not losing weight?" Well, alcohol is very high in calories and carbs and sugar and can contribute to weight gain. I most
Mhm.
certainly know it did for me. And quitting drinking alone may not show immediate weight loss.
Yeah.
Your body's adjusting to its new metabolism, so to speak, and other factors like diet and exercise play a role.
Goddamn diet and
I
exercise.
know it. I
I
know it.
I know for me, people always ask this, "Am I gonna lose weight?" Or, "I've quit drinking and I haven't lost weight. What's the deal?" And for me personally, I use quitting drinking as my free pass to eat whatever I wanted to, and also food tastes really, really good when I quit drinking.
Yes.
It's like my taste buds came alive. I was a calorie restrictor as a drinker, so when I quit, I was like, "You know what? All you only need to focus on quitting drinking, and you can eat whatever you want and you'll get back to work." So when people ask me like, "Did you lose weight?" I didn't. I didn't really have weight I needed to lose when I quit drinking. What I did lose was inflammation in my face and belly bloat, which
Mhm.
was inflammation. And I know some people will be like, "Oh, it's not that much inflammation." Well, I just knew I didn't have that much weight I needed to lose. So for me, it really was just that body shape change. That was really cool to see, actually.
Yeah, same here. It shifted, like, the scales didn't per se, but my clothes fit differently, and I could tell a difference. It just wasn't reflective on the scale right away.
And, too, like, I've gained weight on my alcohol-free journey as I've gone farther along. There is just it is the good old calories in, calories out thing with your body, and you most definitely can lose weight when you quit drinking. But a lot of times what I see is that it's because it's paired with this drive for new healthy habits. You're like, "Oh, cool. I'm doing this thing where I'm quitting drinking. I'm feeling so good. I'm going to start walking now." Or, "I'm doing so good. I'm going to start thinking about my calories a little bit or thinking about the quality of food I'm eating." And those positive changes then start creating that change. But unfortunately, I don't think it's something that you can look forward to as a quick benefit.
Right, and the moving your body in nutrients and looking at food as fuel helps the mental health aspect and the sleep.
Exactly.
Okay, so energy levels. Alcohol can deplete your body of nutrients and disrupt your energy levels. Like, yeah, when you're taking that first sip, you get a whole lot of dopamine, then there's a crash, and then you're hungover, and it's you're nutrient depleted. When I worked at the hospital and people would come in to detox, they would hang what they call a banana bag, which is full of nutrients.
Oh, okay.
'Cause you're dehydrated
Yeah.
and your like, everything needs to be replenished. Now, I'm not a doctor, I can't say what you need to take or not. That was just me observing as a social worker. So, just keep that in mind, like, the essential nutrients are depleted. So, when you stop drinking, your body needs time to replenish these nutrients and restore balance, and that can take a few weeks.
Yeah, that one can definitely take a few weeks. People want that instant energy, and it just is gonna take your body a while to learn to be a body without alcohol, and
Yep.
unfortunately, those things just don't happen overnight. For me, it was like um, what is it? Is it the liver? The liver processes hormones, am I saying that right?
Mhm.
Okay. So the liver processes hormones, and I was not able to process those hormones because I was drinking so much and my liver was processing alcohol. So that was a positive change I saw farther down the road, is that my hormone levels balanced a little bit more. Now, this was 4 years ago and I was like, "Oh my god, this is amazing." And now I'm going through total perimenopause and I'm like, "Shit, I wanna go back to that thing where I quit drinking and it was just like the magic pill." But
Right.
whenever I say it was the magic pill, it wasn't magic. It didn't happen overnight. It took a few months for me to see that change and go, whoa, I'm noticing this balance. I think that's what's hard to remember too. You see people like me talking on social media going, oh, my anxiety went down. My energy levels went up. I started sleeping better. I lost belly bloat. It didn't happen overnight. Okay. So you
Right.
gotta stick to it. The only way you're going to see those changes is to stick to it. And also, do a little bit of work. Like, do a little bit of, okay, I'm going to set up a nighttime routine for myself, or I'm going to start walking 20 minutes a day as a little extra push, or I'm going to really focus in on my energy levels, thinking about how much caffeine am I drinking each day and how much, sleep am I getting, all those things.
Yes. And I think it's important. I know it's important to practice a lot of self compassion. And I talk about this a lot because we hear like grace, give yourself grace. Well, you know me. I'm like, what does that mean?
Right?
So, what I learned, like self compassion and patience, which is always a practice for me. So, just know that quitting alcohol or taking a break is a significant change.
Yeah.
And being compassionate is key. And I tell folks, treat yourself like you would treat your kid or your bestie. Like if your bestie had the flu, would you beat them up and say, you should be feeling great right now, get up? Or would you offer them some electrolytes and some scrambled eggs and tell them to go to bed?
Yeah. And you would totally do the second if it was your bestie.
Yeah. And then you want to celebrate the small wins. Seriously, this is so key. Every day that you're alcohol free is a victory. And celebrating the small milestones and acknowledging the progress you're making, even if it's not immediately visible,
Hmm.
is really key. I remember I quit drinking in April and I took a selfie in May and I have blue eyes, and my eyes were like the bluest they've ever been, ever. And to me, that was a huge win. And the whites of my eyes were like stark white.
Yeah.
That's a big win. And like you said earlier, food tastes better because your taste buds aren't dull. Those are big wins.
And they can feel small when they're happening, but I always tell people the small things are the big things. And that's part of the write something down that happened every single day because you chose not to drink. And
Mhm.
I truly believe I can still find things every single day if I do this practice with myself. And the cool thing is, I find more than one thing. And in the beginning, it was exactly the same. Oh my gosh, celebrate those wins and never show up and say, I'm only 3 days
Mm-mm.
alcohol free. Like, what? No, that's
No.
you're in the hardest time. And people who have many, many more days will always say, I don't want to go back to that. You're doing awesome. Keep
Yes.
going.
Yes. That is a really, really good reminder. And try to stay committed. And I know from having years of day ones, this is easier said than done. Remember why you decided to
Yeah.
be alcohol free. Get specific about your why. Keeping a journal, and it doesn't have to be Dear Diary. You can go back to our journaling episode, but keep track of your progress, talk to a friend, join the day makers, chime in the thread to help you stay committed and focused on your short and long term goals.
Oh my gosh, the staying committed part is so hard. I think
Hmm.
that's why things like a 30-day alcohol-free challenge help people so much because sometimes it takes a little bit of like paying somebody to go through their challenge they created or joining a community that maybe has a membership fee because you put a little skin in the game.
Yeah.
And then you're going, okay, well, I paid money for this, so I'm going to actually go in there and do it. If that's what it takes, I know that's what it takes for me for certain things. I'll totally go. Like,
Hmm.
I've been toying with the idea of getting back into running. And I told my husband, I said, I think I'm going to sign up for a half marathon next April or May, June, sometime. And he kind of was like, whoa, really? And I was like, if I sign up for a 10K, I won't even take it seriously. I'll be like, oh,
Right.
that's far, but I know I can move my body 6 miles. But if I sign up for 13, I'll be like, oh shit, I gotta run.
It's funny you say that. I'm thinking about the same with a health and fitness coach
Hmm.
because for me, if I pay attention.
Yeah.
And the accountability or the accountability is really key for me, as I have learned through the Daymakers.
Yeah.
And when I quit Sour Patch Kids, or, when we do our habit tracker and I have to check that I have not meditated.
It's a little reminder. That's me with drinking water right now. Don't worry, I'm gonna share my tracker sometime this week, and people are gonna be like, "Oh my god, she never drinks water." I'm working on it, people.
Right? You're a complicated houseplant, Sarah. You need water.
I do, and I need it more than, like, once a week.
Yes.
I make myself so guys, I do drink water, I just don't drink enough. I need
Right.
a little bit more, I know I do. Yeah,
I
but
just
me
certain yeah, certain things are just easier. Like you're so good at meditation and you know I'm really good at drinking water.
yeah, exactly, and different things are easy at different times in your life. And that's
Mhm.
something because I used to be amazing at drinking, like, gosh, almost 100 ounces of water a day, but I was just at a different time in my life. I was a teacher, and my schedule worked to where I could chug those bottles of water, and now it's just something that I'm like, "Oh, I gotta learn how to do it." Same for meditation. It comes and it goes, right? But I
Yeah.
think that that's what's so important too with this idea of staying committed is that your your discipline and your motivation will come and go. So
Yep.
sometimes having that extra push, something there and it can be as simple as having like the I am sober app. And it can even be the free version, but it is that little thing checking in with you each day going, "Hey, you've got another day alcohol free." And you don't want to tell that app, I don't actually. I messed up last night." So
Right.
figure out what motivates you in that area to stay committed because, man, it's hard in the beginning, especially
Right.
if you're not seeing the results that you hoped you'd see super fast.
Like you said, the healthy habits, developing these habits and routines, exercise, nutritious food. That could be a vegan protein shake, which is my current
Mhm.
fixation. And getting creative with ways to fuel your body, making your bed every day. Just
Yes.
these habits that are healthy and that you will see results over time by building those healthy habits.
Yeah. And sometimes I think when we incorporate in those healthy habits, we start to see the benefits from those, and then it translates into those benefits from ditching alcohol, and it is just such an awesome thing. I love that you said making your bed because that was something I started doing before I quit drinking. I made it this goal when I made it like a New Year's resolution. I'm gonna make my bed every day. And I was like, what a stupid habit. I love it. And it really somebody said too, it puts you into the work mentality for the day. The I'm going
Mhm.
to prep myself for success. And for me, making my bed in the morning lets me know that at nighttime, I'm going to enjoy getting into my bed more. And I usually sleep better.
Yes.
So it is just,
Yes.
it's a really cool thing to make your brain go into that mindset for yourself.
Yeah, definitely.
Tangent on making bed.
Now, I wanna do a whole episode on making your bed and the scientific research of
Oh,
why you should.
I feel like it's life changing. And the rest of my house could be a disaster, but I'm like, I made my bed.
Yes. So, some of the real things that I experienced was my eyes got brighter, my teeth got whiter, which
Right?
was super surprising. My taste buds got better, and, like, the bloat changed, it decreased, and, like, things shifted
Yeah.
physically. And then mentally, I had a lot more clarity, but I did feel foggy at first. And the anxiety shifted from like anxiety to, I guess, regular anxiety.
Right.
And then things started to level out. And, as far as weight loss, I am currently on a weight loss journey. I had some major health issues like right after I quit drinking. So that prohibited that. But it does take time. Like you said, Sarah, if you drank for 20 years, you're not going to see results in 20 hours.
Yeah. It would be awesome if you did. It really would. But then everybody would make the choice to just ditch alcohol because they're like, "Oh, I feel so much better when I don't do it." But I
Mhm.
think it is just that making the shift. I think the changes that I saw quickly, one of them for me, I was really fortunate with the sleep thing. I thought that happened for everybody. So I'm sorry to all of the people out there that I was like, and if you quit drinking, your sleep's gonna improve. Because I
Mhm.
found out, oh, everybody's different. But man, my sleep got so much better, which translated into more energy. But then my anxiety went down because I didn't have that worry of like, oh, I'm drinking too much or, oh, I have a hangover again. I think so much of my anxiety was linked to my worry, feelings of guilt, feelings of shame, all revolving around my drinking. And
Yep.
that was probably the biggest gift for me. And then beyond that, like the shifts in my my face shape, my body shape, but I didn't see those happening for probably 2 months. Like, that
Yeah.
took a little. I felt awesome, and I felt more confident in my skin because I was showing up every day and keeping a promise to myself, and I feel like that helped myself feel like, "Oh, I've got all these changes happening," but I remember, like, gosh, probably 3 months into my journey, somebody said, "What are you doing? Because you look amazing." And I
Yes.
was kinda like, "I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not doing anything different." And I was like, "Oh, I quit drinking," which that person
Right.
didn't wanna hear. "Oh, that's what you did?" "Yep."
And you're not chronically dehydrated. It's amazing what that'll do for your appearance.
Yeah, for your skin, oh, it's just such a gift. So, if you are feeling like, "Oh, these things come so fast to others," they don't. They're doing the work behind the scenes, and you're living your life too, so you think it's happening really fast for them, but they may have days where they're going, "Oh my god, this I'm not seeing changes." So, stay committed, keep going.
Yes. And give yourself compassion, and healing and transformation takes time. Try to be patient with yourself. Stay committed, stay connected, surround yourself with support. Your body and mind are working hard to adjust, and the positive changes will come.
Yes, they will. I'm so happy you shared this topic because I just think people need these reminders even if they've been alcohol free for a while and now maybe they're like us and they're on a weight loss journey or on a
Right. Or
different
trying to
journey.
quit Sour Patch Kids, or
Yes,
trying to learn how to cook me. And it takes time. It
it
does.
does. Oh my gosh, I love that you use the cooking thing too because my kids, I'm like, this they need to learn how to cook, they need to learn how to bake just so when they move out, they have these skills. So I've been buying like simple like here's a brownie mix and I just kind of hand it to them and they're 13-year-old twins. Make this today. You got to make this before you have screen time. And they're like, "Okay." They have messed up every recipe. They used a tablespoon instead of a teaspoon of baking soda and some cookies. Sitting there eating, I'm going, "Something's wrong." And then I find the tablespoon sitting there, I go, what size do you think this is?" And then my daughter's like, "A teaspoon?" And I was like, "You are mistaken, and that's why the cookies don't taste right."
Right. It's
And then
so
they
good that you're doing this now,
yeah, well, and my
because
go ahead.
I have been on Beyonce's Green Earth for 44 years and had to learn how to cut a watermelon a couple weeks ago. Let me tell you
Right?
how I did it. I used an ice cream scoop and a ladle. And then my mom was like, "Heath, why didn't you use a knife?" I tried that, Mom. I'm left-handed. I did not learn any of these skills, and then I had, like, learned helplessness because other people did it for me, so I got creative and used an ice scoop and a ladle.
I
So
love it. Whatever works, right? Well, I told my daughter because she goes, "I feel so stupid. I keep messing up every single thing you give me." And I said, "That's how you learn because you will never make the mistake of the tablespoon versus the teaspoon again because you
right.
remember how bad that tasted." And I was like, "Oh my god, Lindy, I mess up so many of our dinners." And that's how I've just learned how to do it. I've learned my flow because I didn't cook the meals that I cook now for my family. I didn't cook them growing up. I'm like, "You think I just showed up one day and was like, 'I'm gonna cook curry and it's gonna be good.' No, you guys had to eat a lot of crappy curry."
Right.
I'd go, "I don't know, this one's not great."
Yeah. So give yourself compassion, and we'll be in your ear next week.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah. Bye, y'all.